What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. Thank you, Movie Meal patron Steve, Kimberly, and Karen. Go get some merch. I'll link down in the description. It's all on the screen. Go check that stuff out. It's amazing. A new merch low key might be on the docket here soonish question mark. Kyle and I
Whispers.
for like a week. Kyle's been like, when are we making this Venom review? and every day Al looks at his watch and says, I'm busy. I just don't care. So we're going to do all spoilers here. We thought we'd talk about the thing that I think most people bought a ticket to Venom for. And that was the after credit scene because there was a lot of hype around it.
Yeah.
So we're going to go all spoilers. If you haven't seen Venom, get out of here. We'll maybe talk about what we thought of Venom, but for the most part, we're going to talk about the after credit scene. Short video, but so the after credit scene, for a little recap, I'm sure most people have seen it who are watching, is Eddie Brock. He has to leave at the end of Venom versus Carnage after he kills Carnage, which I thought was actually low key a mistake. But he's like in Tahiti or some, or Hawaii. Did they ever say where he was? He's just on a beach. He's on a nice looking beach.
Yep, he's on a nice beach, hiding out.
Him and Venom are talking. They're in their hotel room. It's got access to the outside or whatever, and they're watching TV, watching this soap opera, and Venom and him are talking, and Venom says, there's so many things we can do that you have no idea. And Tom was like, well, Eddie Brock's like, what can you do? And he's like, I'll show you. And then all of a sudden there's all these glitches and all this crazy stuff. And then Venom's like, I didn't do this. And they're all freaking out. And there's like a swan towel now on his bed. And the news flashes, and it's the end of Spider-Man Far From Home of J. Jonah Jameson saying, this man is Spider-Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And then Eddie turns into Venom because Venom is so in love with this man that he just saw on the tube. The television is what that means. That he takes over, he licks the screen, and he says, like, I want that one, or something. Like, he says something like that. And that's it. So Kyle, well, I guess it's not it, because then the guy walks out. He's like, what are you doing in my room? And he's like, what are you doing in my room? And there's a weird thing. But anyway, Kyle, what did you think of the after credits scene? And what do you think moving forward for Spider-Man No Way Home? There's no way he's coming home. There's no way he's getting home. There's absolutely no way.
Honestly, I think Venom 3 should be called Venom No Way Home, because I'm pretty sure he's now in the MCU.
Venom 3 Where's Home again?
I think the majority of
Venom
everyone's
3,
predictions.
New York's different. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It looks a little. I was gonna. Well, where was I? Oh yeah. I was thinking the majority of people's predictions for like the end of Venom 2, or how Venom and Spider-Man were gonna meet or whatever, was that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was gonna end up being stuck in Venom's universe through the events of No Way Home, and then that would mean that Sony would have the character back. At least, like, just based on the speculations,
that
we really don't know.
I think it was more of that, at some point, either in Spider-Man No Way Home, that he, like, the scene would be him appearing, so that we know that in this next movie, because maybe they're going to put out a trailer with Venom in it next, and so they're saying, hey, he's going to be in this next movie, Spider-Man's going to jump to this universe. And then a lot of thoughts were, well, looking at the contracts, the negotiation problem that was a year or two ago, that maybe what this will be the perfect write-off. Spidey is now in Sony's universe. It'll make sense. He's out of the MCU. I think that's what most people thought. That's what I thought going in. Go ahead.
But instead, it seems like that's possibly going to be the opposite. It now seems like Venom is in the MCU. We don't know if that's temporary. We don't know if that's going to be permanent. But it does kind of make sense, at least from the business aspect. I think despite Sony being very pleased with like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Venom 2 doing as well business-wise as they have, I think they know the power of the MCU. It's very clear that it's what everyone loves so much, and it's possible behind the scenes they could have decided, look, we'll merge the two, at least let us do these Spider-Man spin-off movies like Venom and Morbius, like in our own vision, in our own way, but they can loosely connect to the MCU minus, Venom crossing paths with Spider-Man. Like that to me seems like that's what potentially is going to happen, at least based by this after credits scene alone. I think we'll get at least more theories or even more like confirmed stuff when Spider-Man No Way Home happens, because you're right. At this point, it's very possible that Venom could make an appearance in No Way Home. I mean, Marina is coming back as Doc Ock, and even Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro. Like, why not have Tom Hardy's Venom somehow make an appearance? I don't know how it would fit entirely, but
heck, it's looking like Willem Dafoe's going to be in this movie.
I mean, all bets are off. Like, it could happen.
The biggest thing that, spoilers for all recent MCU, because we're gonna talk a little Loki here too, because Loki ends, WandaVision. There's all these shows that end about the same point, and it's supposed to be seems like it's gonna be this big, big event. And I'm very curious what Eternals is gonna do, because I wonder if Eternals is gonna maybe actually be a big cause for some things to happen. Also, I'm getting more hype for Eternals than I think I've ever been for a Marvel movie. Like, I'm getting very hyped.
Well, welcome aboard.
No, I mean, I've been hyped, but like the more I just think about how much I'm in love with Chloe Zhao, the better it is.
Yeah,
she's amazing. And every time I see that trailer, because they only show 5 trailers, I'm invested. But anyway, so the biggest surprise to me watching the after credits scene, because I went in with decent expectations. I mean, some people were saying this is the greatest after credit scene ever, and it was like, okay, Marvel is always pulling out the stops. And honestly, going in at one point, I was like, I bet you this is some joke, because I remember when the first Spider-Man Homecoming came out, everybody talked about how great the after credit scene was, and the first one was the second one was Captain America sitting people down and going, "Oh, you're still here, huh?" Remember in the he's in the training video. And I remember, I went into it and I was like, is Marvel punking? Is this going to be, what is this going to be? Had my guesses. I thought Spider-Man would end up there, but I liked the surprise that Venom's in this universe. I like Tom Hardy's Venom. I just also don't like Tom Hardy's Venom. Does that make sense?
You like Tom Hardy, I guess, but not Venom.
I think the banter is solid. I don't think it's die hard funny. I think if you gave a better director who's been in the MCU the absolute ability to, like, if James Gunn writing that movie would be hysterical. You would get so many really good laughs between the two of them. If the writers for the Avengers, if they're taking over, I think you get a much better Venom, and I think you might see that here with who's doing Spider? Is it Tom Watts again?
It's Tom, isn't Watts.
He? Yeah. Tom Watts knows how to do this comedy, so I think that will really help improve my enjoyment of Venom, because I don't hate Venom. I just don't love the way his movies have been and his character have been. I did like this second one more than the first one. Maybe that's just because I ended up weirdly enjoying Carnage more. But my biggest thing is because Doctor Strange is doing a spell to make the whole world forget that he's Spider-Man. So it's hard to imagine that spell is the spell that rips open the multiverse. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that spell? So it makes me think that it's a middle ground of what's going on in some of the shows like Loki, or that it's a specific direct result in the ending of Loki with Kang dying and a new Kang replacing it, and now it's merged universes. And I'm starting to wonder if I think that's more likely, because I was always kind of under this impression, I don't know where you were at, that it felt like it's going to be Doctor Strange and Spider-Man jumping from universe to universe. But I said this the other day. I actually said it before I saw Venom, because the trailer came on for another movie we were seeing, and I said to myself, I wonder if this is like a bunch of universes merging onto one planet, and like suddenly there's way more people than there's supposed to be. And I wonder if like that train scene in the trailer where there's like 5 trains around isn't Doctor Strange making more trains. I wonder if it's showing us that all of those are the same train in the same spot in a different multiverse at the same time. And so I wonder if that's what's going to happen in this movie, and a bunch of villains happen to get pushed into where Spidey is. So we can kind of get a Sinister Six fight without really getting it, because they don't all need to take time to team up, because they could all just be hunting Spider-Man at the same time. It
Sure.
is kind of my thought process with where we're going with this movie. And then, it might just so happen that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are coming out. There have been leaks everywhere, like leaks where all these people are like, look at the set. And then somebody's like, no, I can prove that's wrong. I don't really care at this point. I trust Marvel, and I trust Kevin Feige, and I trust Tom Watts, because I think he's made a great Spider-Man series so far. And I think I've been disappointed in a Marvel movie in a long time. I've been like left the theater, been like, yeah, it was okay, but I have not been like disappointed leaving a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going in with solid expectations. I think the movie will be good, and I think the pulling Venom in is a good idea. I think, why not do that instead of introduce a bunch more villains? You know what I mean? Like, let's get the Doc Ock from this universe. Let's get Green Goblin from this universe. Let's get Electro from this universe. Let's get these talented actors that still have contracts, and let's make, boom, we got our Sinister Six. Instead of taking a movie and a movie and a movie to introduce all of them, like they were trying to do with Amazing Spider-Man 2, where it was like Rhino at the beginning and the end, and then he'd be in the next movie. Like, let's just throw them all at him at once, because I think it would be awesome to see Eddie Brock and Tom Holland have a conversation. I like this idea of this Eddie Brock talking to this Tom Holland. I think that's a cool idea that can work. And so I'm excited they went with this direction. And you got to wonder, did Tom Holland go into, because he went in to talk to all the heads. Remember, he called that meeting. He was like, I got to talk to everybody, and he made it happen. He was like, look, this is going to be the biggest thing in freaking history. If you
don't blow
bring
this for me,
more characters into their universe, you can make more money. You don't lose the characters like Fox. You don't lose all this revenue. And they're telling such great stories over there that you can just benefit massively. And now people have to go see their movies. Like, I have to go see Morbius now to see if this might connect to Venom or Spider-Man or the MCU. I think it's a good strategy. I talked a lot. I'm sorry. Did you have any thoughts on anything there?
I like your thought process when it comes to
Thank you.
multiverses coming together for No Way Home, because I think Doctor Strange 2, which is called Multiverse of Madness, is going to be Doctor Strange doing the multiverse hopping thing that we were thinking was going to happen in No Way Home. And I think that'll also come into play with WandaVision as well, since Scarlet Witch is also supposed to be in this movie. I think that kind of makes sense. So yeah, I think No Way Home is going to be very Spider-Man focused, but it's going to have everything about Spider-Man that we've known throughout the franchises all morphed into one world, at least temporarily. And then maybe Doctor Strange will fix that and then be like, all right, now I got to fix all the other ones that are messed up all over the place.
What might be interesting is if it merges everybody, and then at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he fixes it. But then what happens is a bunch of people get, just like a bunch of people were pulled from other universes into ours. Now Wanda was accidentally ripped into a different universe, and maybe other characters were pulled from our universe into a different one, and now he has to go save them. That would be interesting, and that would be very smart, I think, by Marvel.
Yeah, maybe.
Because then he can do the hopping.
Yeah. Yeah, he could. That would be a good explanation for it anyway. Obviously, we'll just wait and see, but that's not a bad theory either. Yeah, I mean, I came away with Venom 2 liking it more than the first one. I think with Andy Serkis as the director, he kind of understood what Tom Hardy was kind of trying to go for in terms of the tongue-in-cheek bromance type humor that he was kind of going for in the first one. And they leaned into that a lot more. And I think it was better result because of it. But I think it just comes down to personal taste for me. And while everyone else seems to really enjoy it, which is great, it's just not like it for me. So the after credits scene, it surprised me a little bit, but not too much, that they were morphing everything into one temporarily or on purpose. Universe, or if it's going to be permanent, that's the word I'm trying to say. Yeah. Then okay, cool, fine. But I'm not too excited for the pairing of Venom and Tom Hardy's Venom and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, just because they seem like two puzzle pieces that don't go together. And also, I have a personal attachment with like what was done with the comics when they first would meet up with each other, or with the shows like Spectacular Spider-Man, the '90s Spider-Man show, where they did tell that story really well in both those entries. And I have my personal attachments with that relationship more so than thinking about the what ifs of these two weird puzzle pieces trying to fit. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe under the vision of Tom Watts and Kevin Feige, maybe they'll actually wind up being good. I just don't know yet, and I have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in it because I wonder what, I like Venom is obsessed in the comics with Spider-Man. He's in love with Spidey. So I want to see if the symbiote leaves Eddie to go to him. And I wonder if maybe, because I'm not in love with the way the look is of Venom. I think it looks good, but I think it looks very CGI. So I wonder if maybe if he gets on to
Because it
Spider-Man.
is.
Well, I know, but like Hulk, I think looks
I know.
really good. I just don't think
Yeah.
Venom looks really good. I actually didn't mind Carnage, but still, I
The
wonder if
designs
like
were
maybe
good, better. Yeah.
you could use this as an opportunity to course correct a little bit, maybe change the look up a little bit, maybe change some of the way they work with each other. I think it could work. And I'm curious. Again, Marvel, I sit here every time and I'm like, Marvel's, you're making me nervous. And then every time Marvel smacks me and they're like, why on earth would you be nervous at this point? We're 23 movies and 3 TV shows in, and you're still sitting here sweating bullets that we can't tell a story. Are we Star Wars? No, we're not. Are we DC? No, we are not. We're Marvel.
Ain't that the
Dave
truth?
Bautista comes in and he just karate chops me out of here.
Yeah, that's his side job on top of being Drax. Yeah, it's part of the contract.
All righty. Well, guys, what do you think? Comment below. Let us know. More like, subscribe, share. Thank you, Meal patrons. Yeah, and as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.